Okay, this is a plant installation of DIY Kai. And one of the biggest problems I had was that I would forget to water things. And so they'd sprout and then kind of die. And then I'd be in trouble. And I also kind of like to buy seeds from, I think these are mostly from rareseeds.com, which is Baker Creek. So I had, going on two years of seeds. I don't know how long they stay good for. But the hack we found that works pretty well so far has been to take 8-ounce Gladware cups and punch a hole in the bottom of them. So it would be something like this. This one's kind of dirty. You don't need a drill. I just use a screw. Fill them up with dirt and then throw some seeds in. I'm super forgetful, so I've been putting seeds in little plastic bags and labeling them so you can kind of see or remember what you've been up to. That has one drawback in that these aren't exactly waterproof, so you can see some kind of fill up with mildew or they sprout in there, and then I have to shotgun plant them somewhere as they're sprouting in the bag. But considering they're pretty cheap and I'm worried that they're getting old, that works out fine. I basically floated them in a tray that came with one of these plastic crates we've got down here. The plastic crates themselves are part of a worm bin experiment where we were filling them up with table scraps and paper, and then we'd ordered some worms online. They have ventilation holes drilled in them, and hypothetically what would be happening is the worms would start in the lower bin, and then as they ate all of the food in there, they would crawl up through the holes into the subsequent bins and work on the food in there. It would drain into here and you'd have some compost tea or whatever to use. So that worked super well until we got into a more open environment, basically moved from an apartment to the house we're in right now. And then the whole thing seemed to get taken over by fruit flies, which sort of sucked. So we're on a reset now. I'm thinking about stealing coffee from the employers that I work for. Not new coffee, but used coffee grounds, because it seems like fruit flies are less attracted to those, and resetting this adventure. But if you had like a 3-story worm condo, you'd have a spare tray to use, because you'd have one on the bottom and one on the top. And then you'd have a random leftover one that you could use for something like this. So that's kind of a summary of what we've been trying to hack for gardening adventures in what I guess is year 2 of this experiment.